Today I want to talk about Dontae Manning choosing to reopen his recruitment after having committed to Oklahoma back in the spring. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time today. I'm going to talk about Dontae Manning choosing to reopen his recruitment on what is a fun-filled news day for Oklahoma City Thunder fans and Oklahoma Sooners fans as Paul George walked out the door, and you can watch that video that I made about, well, that. And Dontae Manning decided to reopen his recruitment, saying that the Oklahoma Sooners still remain at the top of his list, even as he wants to reevaluate opportunities. Yes, you are right to draw conclusions from Bryson Washington choosing to commit to Oklahoma just days ago and Dontae Manning reopening his recruitment. Look, there are a number of different ways to look at this. The first is Dontae Manning took a visit to Texas A&M. And yeah, there's a lot of reasons to like Texas A&M. One, if I'm going to play the Aggies advocate here, which, look, let's walk this out, all right? Texas A&M plays in the SEC in Texas. There's one. Two, I've been talking to recruits off and on about what is appealing about the Aggies because it ain't necessarily making college football playoffs and it ain't winning conference championships. It is what they pride themselves on, which is the Aggie network, right? You know people in Houston. You know people at College Station. You know people in Dallas. You know people all around that can help you get jobs. And most of these dudes are not going to play in the NFL. And those that are only going to play for a limited amount of time. So they're thinking about their futures. I don't fault them for that. I also think that a lot of this has to do with Texas A&M defense has put players into the league, and that's something that Oklahoma just can't say that it does well, all right? Montez Sweat, Texas A&M. Von Miller, Texas A&M. We can keep going about what defensive recruits and why are making it into the NFL from A&M, and you could say it's because they play in the SEC. Well, yeah, that's what's appealing about the SEC. They put guys into the NFL. Oklahoma is working from an absolute disadvantage, and I contend that every high-profile defensive recruit that Oklahoma lands comes here out of his good friggin' graces because you cannot prove to them that the defense has been worth a damn, and you can't prove to them that they're going to make the NFL because, well, you just had what was another historic draft offensively for Oklahoma, and who did you get drafted on the defense, right? Eric Stryker, one of the best pass rushers to ever come out of Oklahoma, went undrafted. Tony Jefferson actually made his way in the NFL, went undrafted. We're talking about Aaron Colvin being your best defensive draft pick on the defensive side of the ball since Jordan Phillips, right? That's about it. No, Aaron Colvin came out before Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips, second-round draft pick, right? Zach Sanchez, okay, sure. He was playing the Alliance last year. You can keep going here, and you can see that it's really a tough sell. Now, I don't really have a problem with Dontae Manning reopening his recruitment in the same way that I didn't have a problem with Darian Green-Warren reopening his recruitment. I do think that you'd be right to go pursue Darian Green-Warren because I think that dude really does just want to be wanted at Oklahoma, especially with the new regime, because when he committed to Kerry Cooks and Mike Stoops, right? But I also think that DGW wanted to be a Sooner, and I think that if Alex Grinch makes the effort to go get him, it's not going to be as difficult as some think it is. And all that dude did was show out at the opening. All he's done is show out in his high school football career. And coming out of Mater Dei, you had to believe that that was a good thing because Jeremiah Cradell comes out of Mater Dei too. And apparently Alex Grinch wanted him, or at least Lincoln Riley did. So I want to see what this means because it seems that they're just trading up in defensive backs, right? You could argue that Jalen Huff was being traded up from when you added Dontae Manning or even Ryan Watts. And now with Bryson Washington, who I think is wildly underrated, I expect that dude to skyrocket over the coming months when we're talking about 247 composite. I understand that Dontae Manning was like, look, okay, cool, y'all got to keep recruiting defensive backs. I'm going to reopen my recruitment. I don't blame them for that because the kids don't really have a lot of agency here. They don't really have a lot of leverage. And the argument that you're making is pejorative because you really think that every kid should stay committed to his commitment because you think that this is some sort of love relationship when it's a business relationship. Love comes later, okay? You love that person after they play well for you, and they love you after you develop them to the NFL. Right now, it's still business, and verbal commitments, as the newspapers like to say, are non-binding. It's a lot of moving and shaking, and I believe that it's going to shake out well for Oklahoma. I was even talking with Brandon Drum, my buddy over at OUinsider.com, about whether or not this class is going to end up in the top 10. He still thinks that it can. I'm saying it's going to be shaky toward the end, especially since you are apparently refusing to add a 2020 quarterback to this class. So you can't expect this class to be highly ranked. But if you're not going to add a 2020 quarterback, you better be recruiting your butt off on the defensive side of the ball. All right? I understand that there's still an outside chance for Andrew Rame to join up. There's an outside chance for Jalen Connors to join up. And I think that, again, you have great momentum for Oklahoma with Vandegrift and then 4 defensive recruitments in the past month. But yeah, I don't blame Dontae Manning for wanting to look around, because if you're him, you're also shorter than the guys that they brought in. Bryson Washington is 6'2". Ryan Watts is 6'3", right? You also understand that Alex Grinch apparently is negatively recruiting against his roster, if that is the argument to be made. Because, well, while he didn't say anything that was untrue to Josh Eaton, it ain't going to make the roster feel real good, okay? You're telling them that you want to coach him up. You're giving this Major Payne style of everybody against me, the common entity, the defensive coordinator, and then you play well. Yeah, okay, that only works in the summer. If they don't play well, let alone the Oklahoma Sooners are going to win games, all right? We know that. They're going to win football games. But if they don't win football games because the defense is better, then we get to have a real discussion about what is Alex Grinch actually doing. Because if he's just pissing off the roster to piss off the roster because, well, he thinks that they're untalented, cool. Untalented is not a word. Not talented. Whatever, right? You're going to say he's making $1.1 million to get results. But he needs to get results, because this is, again, it's a high wire act that he's going at right now. And we're seeing that play out in the recruiting of the 2020 class. We're still learning about what this guy is willing to do and how he's willing to put it together. But we'll see if he even gets to stick around to coach this recruiting class, because, again, in July, we don't know what Oklahoma's going to do. We only have prognostications. We only have predictions. And I understand that everybody loves predictions, but I want to see results. I'm tired of talking about what could be, and I want to start talking about what is. And what is right now is Dontae Manning deciding to reopen his recruitment at a time when they brought in Bryson Washington, who is a better recruit than Dontae Manning at this point. We'll see what the football season has to say, but I don't blame him for doing what he did. I also expect Oklahoma to continue to recruit the hell out of him, because he can play, and he's an absolute player. Now, we'll just have to wait and see. All right, that's it for me. Doses.